Welcome back for more Reddit story videos. Today we have several entitled parent stories for you to enjoy. As always, don't forget to share and like if you enjoy these videos. Without further ado, here we go. I'm not watching your kids on my 18th birthday. Sorry if this is really long, but felt the need to share after a run-in with my entitled parent, my own sister. She reminded me about this while complaining that her daughter didn't want to hang out with her for her 18th birthday. TLDR at the bottom. Little backstory. I'm the middle of 5 kids and it's a complicated mess from my mom being married 3 times. Basically, the order of us is my older sister from her first marriage that was raised by her grandmother for reasons I was never told. There's me and my younger brother from her second. He's only a year younger than me and we've always been super close because we were raised together. Then there's my stepsister, who's a few weeks young, and a stepbrother a few years older than me from her third and last marriage. That man was a saint and treated me more like a daughter than my waste of skin father ever did. The oldest among us is almost 10 years older than me, and because she had a kid young, I was 8 when my first nephew was born. Thankfully, she didn't live with the rest of us then, but when she moved back in with us when I was older, around 16, she had some fight with her baby daddy and bailed. I somehow became a free babysitter for her kids every weekend. This pissed me off a lot because my mom not only allowed it, she told me I had no choice because she needed time from the kids. Never mind the fact that I'm juggling school, a part-time job and army cadets, and she was a stay-at-home mom. I had one night to myself each week to do my homework or go out with my friends, and my sister would bugger off and leave me with her crotch goblins. She didn't even have the decency to feed them first, and those little shits, ages 2, 7 and 8, were picky eaters. And trying to do my homework with these 3 fighting was more than I could take. It came to a point that I stopped coming home till late on my days off and just heading to the library or friends instead. This was also in the days before cell phones were commonplace and cost like $900 up front, so my sister couldn't text to demand where I was. I often miss the days before texting and social media for reasons like this. I know, ironic, considering I post on Reddit. As soon as I would walk in the door, she practically bolted and get pissy if I told her I had to go to work or cadets. Other problems she caused were things like when my boyfriend would pick me up before school and she would hit on him. Once she grabbed his car keys and dropped them down from front of her pants and told him if he wanted them, he would have to grab them. He quickly responded that he didn't want his hands anywhere near her filthy claptrap, and we ended up walking. I lived close enough to the school, but he didn't, and I had to lend him my bus pass until I could get his car keys back. Or she poked fun at a friend of mine who was really short due to Turner syndrome, called her a beach ball because of her height combined with a double D cup size. On top of that, my mom and stepdad, who were truck drivers, were home less and less as we get older. My mom had made me start to pay rent when I got my part-time job, about $50 a week that went into helping the bills. I hated that because I didn't make a lot and bus passes were not cheap. My mom also started to tell me that the money that I would give her for my rent was to go to my sister to buy groceries. My sister, on the other hand, used it to go to the casino with our other sister, then lie to my mom and tell her that I didn't give her the money. Has to start getting her to sign receipts from a book I got at a dollar store just to prove she was full of shit. Anyway, this went on for close to 2 years. Sorry for the long backstory, but this woman was the bane of my teen years and part of my 20s. What finally broke the camel's back was my 18th birthday. My mom and my stepdad couldn't be there because of work, which was fine, and I had bought a nice dress to wear with some friends at the bar. Legal drinking age where I live is 18. They also told me they would be home the morning after so we could grab lunch together after they had a nap. The cast, me, sis, entitled bitch sister. I got home from school to shower and get dressed to head out. Because of her antic, I had a lock installed on my bedroom door, and I didn't want her kids in my room because they would break things. I was in such a hurry that I forgot to relock my door while I was in the shower, and when I get back to my room, she was there, trying to zip up the dress I bought on her. But she was too fat to manage it. Me, take that off and get the F out of my room. Sis, but I need something to wear tonight, I'm going out and you have to watch the kids. Me, the F I am, it's my 18th birthday, I'm going out. Sis, But I need you to watch them. You haven't been home and I can't afford a sitter. Then I hear a rip as one of the side seams bursts open. Smugly, my sister takes off the dress and drops it on the floor. Sis, looks like you're not going now, huh? And she walks out of my room. I checked the dress. The stitches on the seam broke, so I could fix it in less than 5 minutes. I call my boyfriends and tell him what's going on, and he told me he would handle it and to get ready to go. I fix the dress, get ready, and as I finish my makeup, I hear my sister start screaming in rage. I go outside and barely hold back my laughter. All 4 tires on her car are flat. Then my boyfriend pulls up and I pout at her. Looks like you won't be going, huh? And we leave. Boyfriend had parked his car down the street and snuck over to let the air out, but not to slash them. He wasn't that much of an ass. The night was a blast, what I remember of it. I didn't get home to the ass crack of dawn just as my parents got home. Mom didn't say anything, just asked if I had fun and told me to be up by 11 so we can go out and eat. I went to my room and collapsed into bed. I heard my sister start to whine them in the kitchen. Must have thought she could turn this to get me in shot. But my mom wasn't having any of it and tore her like I never heard before. Not only was my sister called selfish and childish for trying to pull such a stunt, that she was not living there for free any longer. She was given 30 days to either get a job or leave. She moved back in with her baby daddy 2 weeks later. Apparently she had been seeing him the whole time she was living with us and was getting welfare checks without giving my parents a dime to help out, while not even buying so much as a box of cereals for her kids. To this day, I hate when any of my siblings, even my younger brother, ask me to watch their kids. I don't hate my nieces and nephews, far from it. I just don't want to be in the situation of being that run-to-free babysitter. I'm also the only one among us 5 who doesn't have kids, and I'm perfectly content with that. By kids, have 4 legs and fur. Entitled Dinosaur tries to go into the pool. Cast me. C, co-worker, e.g. entitled grandmother, em entitled mother, ef entitled father. Alright, so this just happened, so buckle up. So C and I are lifeguards, and the way our company works is HOA contracts our companies, and our company sends lifeguard to work at the neighborhood's pools. So this specific pool is in a very nice neighborhood, and the people here, while all rich, are pretty humble. But also, it being in this area, I was expecting a wild Karen to show up some point, and lo and behold, it happens. So our pool doesn't have pool tags, but a fingerprint scanner that unlocks the magnet. So we could see that the door wasn't opening for this lady, and she waves us to the gate, so C and I head over. E.g., the fingerprint reader isn't working, can you let us in please? Sorry madam, we can't let you in if the fingerprint doesn't work. But my grandchildren wanted to come to the pool, and my daughter has the fingerprint but is away on vacation. I'm babysitting them, so how do you expect me to let them in the pool? Madam, we're still not allowed to. At other pools that have keys or key fobs, if they don't work or don't have one, we're not supposed to let them in. Even though this is a fingerprint, it's the same concept. Is the HOA here? Most likely going to see if the HOA would just tell us to let them in. We don't think so, but you're more than welcome to schedule an appointment with them. E.g., who's the HOA? I want to speak with him. I don't know, I never met them. C has because she lives in the neighborhood, but only met her once. E.g., you don't know who your HOA is? How do you work here then? Me, we're not employed by the HOA. They employ our company and our company employs us. At this point, C and I were having resting bitch faces. You know what? I'm going to call my daughter. Proceeds to call daughter. Yeah, they're not letting us in. They said we need a fingerprint, but you're out of town. She was on speaker. EM, I told you to get a fingerprint done when I left. C and I try hiding smug grins, but that wasn't the end of it. So who's not letting you in? Who are they? E.g., you're on speaker, they can hear you. C, we're the lifeguards. EM, well, I'm not there, can you let them in? We explained to her again the thing about not letting people in without fingerprints. EM starts getting a little agitated. But I'm not there. I can send you a picture of my driver's license so you can see my address. You can see where I live. My mother can show you to our house. I don't even want to start going anywhere outside this gate, let alone her house. We're not allowed to leave the pool also. I pay thousands of dollars to live there and you can't let them use the pool? My taxes. I can hear her talking in the background to someone. EM, the lifeguards won't let them in. She repeats this 2 times and C and I can hear it's a man she's talking to, most likely her husband. EF, what's going on? He sounds absolutely furious. Give me the phone. Who are you? He's directing the questions to us. C and I look at each other, obviously very uncomfortable at the thought of giving our names to strangers. He asks again, still very angry. C gives her name, so I can't let her take all the blame, so I give my name too. EF, name and name. I'll make sure you two don't have a job. They hang up and the grandma is still there. EG, he was very angry. C and me, we can see that. Anyway, have a good day. And the sad part is one of the 2 kids who was a little boy was calling to us while walking away. Sorry, so sorry. And he was waving and we felt so bad for those kids. I called my supervisor to give him a heads up and he told us to fill an incident report because they might get a call from them within the week and they want to know what happened. But our supervisor calmed us down and said we'd be fine and that we did our jobs perfectly. EM sues my grandparents for a physically impossible situation. This happened when I was a kid, so I wasn't told about the lawsuit until I was older. However, I remember the brat-ass kids and EM. My grandparents and I had a season ticket to our local hockey team for years. We sat in the same seats with many families who also had season tickets. The seats behind us went through several tickets holders over the years. One season, the Beverly Hillbillies sat behind us. These were 2 EKs who would run around the section just screaming. Mind you, we sat behind the goal and there was no protective net above the glass. Running around during play was not just rude but dangerous because of the pucks that frequently went above the glass. They would kick the seats and sometimes our heads. They would get massive pops and spill them half the time. EM didn't pay any attention to her monsters and also had a little regard to our personal space. Now the scene is set. After her kids had kicked our seats one too many times that night, my papa snapped and asked her to control her kids. EM, don't tell me how to parent. They aren't hurting anyone. Crotchety old man. Papa, really? Because they kicked my wife and granddaughter's heads several times this season. They've also spilled pop on my granddaughter's coat. This isn't a playground. EM, they are just being kids. You can just ignore them. We brushed it off because the kids stopped for a while. Papa was a pretty big guy with a harsh voice. EM stood up and began to fiddle with her coat. She ended wrapping Papa in her coat because it was a long coat and she stood right above him instead of standing above the empty seat next to him. Papa pushed the coat off him and EM lost her shit. EM, you just groped me. He touched my breast. Throw him out. Papa, oh, bullshit. Nana, how could he even reach your breast? He's sitting in his seat and you are standing a row above us. EM, I felt it. Your husband is a perv. The ushers saw the whole thing and escorted her and her kids out. They did not return for the rest of the season. My Nana told me recently that EM sued my grandparents and the arena for assault and harassment. She lost her case because there's no way he could have reached her breast from his seat and there were witnesses. I hate when people like this lie about assault because it takes away from all of the people who actually have been assaulted. EM screams at pharmacist because he's going to sell her child drugs. This is a rather short story, happened today at my local pharmacy. So I went by nasal spray for my dad when suddenly EM entered the building with her child. There were 2 sales assistants. One was talking with me, the other was about to talk with EM. EM, Karen, SA, sales assistant, PH, pharmacist. EM, hello, I'd like to buy some cough syrup for my child. Sure, which one would you like? Do you prefer any brand? Just give me the best you have. SA takes a bottle and asks EM if this one was okay. EM didn't bother to watch since she was busy with her phone and she just said, yeah, it's fine. That would be $4.80. That's expensive for this little much of syrup. EM was about to give her the money, but then she shook the bottle to look at it when she suddenly screamed at the SA. What the hell is that? Excuse me? Are you trying to drug my child? SA was confused AF. So was the other SA and me too. What do you mean? This is just normal cough syrup. EM, don't lie to me. I'm not blind. There is marijuana on the picture. Give me your boss right now. SA didn't want to put up with her longer than necessary and she called her boss. PH, what's the problem? Well, your SA tried to drug my child. I'm suing. There's weed in this. Fire SA. PH, that's a maple leaf, lady. There's a tree right in front of the pharmacy. EM got red and left while dragging her kid out. So those were the stories for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be highly appreciated. It really does help my channel out. Also, if you enjoyed this and want to stay up to date on the latest videos, then don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for listening and I will see you in the next video.